Oh, that burble, I love it. So welcome to another RiderCamTV video, and today we've got the opportunity to take out the BMW R nineT Pure. And what a retro looking bike. Really excited about riding this bike. Not only does it look nice and beefy, it's got all the power that many of the other bikes have got, but totally different style. So let's take it out. So first impressions, bouncy bike. I can tell it's going to be quite comfortable bike, but quite basic in terms of the instruments that you've got in front of you. But in actual fact, I've really been looking forward to riding this bike. I love the burbling of that exhaust pipe. It's quite a special sound. Now this is the R nineT Pure, and I'm not sure what colour they call the grey that they've done it, but it's almost like a military battleship grey. But I think it looks quite special. It's very retro. I'm really quite a lot more forward than I thought I would be. Certainly nowhere near a sports bike forward, but certainly a lot further forward than I thought I would be. This bike's got 1170cc. It's the opposed twin, the boxer engine, and it's just really lovely. Visibility is great, as you would expect, because there's nothing in the way. I really like the fact that it's retro, but they've carried the retro thing on with the speedo. Although the digital display down the bottom, I've got the clock on there at the moment, and I was whizzing through, and I can't find a setting to allow me to see how much fuel I've got in the tank. Very smooth bike, very smooth indeed. Seat, really comfy. Old retro style seat, but it's really, really comfy. All of the switch gear, again, it's BMW's flagship switch gear. Really pronounced. You know when you've pressed the button, you know what you've selected. My legs aren't crunched up, I know where the pegs are. I'm not fishing around for any of the gear lever or the brake pedal. So that's really comfortable and really nice. Surprisingly, unlike the smaller bike, the G310R, they haven't got a little BMW badge on the handlebars, which is quite strange. But I suppose they have got the big, huge ones on the side of the tank. Brakes are really good. As I found out just then, they do bite quite quickly, especially the front brake. But listen to that burbling. Now, because it's the boxer engine, it doesn't sound dissimilar to the 1200 Adventure. But that exhaust pipe, I really love the sound of it, just burbling away. And this bike's got 110 brake horsepower and about the same in torque, although all of the information will be on the screen now. It's not very heavy. It's only 200 and something kilos, which is great. Quite surprised that BMW have been able to get this bike to that low weight, to be fair, because the boxer engine has got to weigh quite a bit, especially with it sticking out both sides. And it's not a tiny engine. Now, I like what BMW have been doing with their range over the last few years with this boxer engine, that not just making it a one-trick pony in the GS or the GS Adventure, that they've actually branched out and made that engine more versatile to fit many more uses and many more styles of bike. I do feel, unlike the GS and the GS Adventure, with the boxer twin, when it first starts up, you do get a bit of a rock of the bike. It's quite strange not seeing what gear you're actually in, because on all or most of the bikes that I've owned, you've been able to see what gear you're in. And it's quite strange not seeing what gear, but you know, I guess it's a retro bike. They can't fit everything on there. You've got everything you need in front of you. You know how fast you're going. You can see the clock, and you can scroll through different things like the speedo and the trip and all of that sort of stuff. You can scroll through that. And surprisingly, this has got heated grips. And it's BMW's 2-stage heated grips again. And I wonder whether in the future that they will put heated grips on that you can stage, much like the RTs, that aren't stuck just on either warm or burn your fingers off. This bike just wants to go. It just wants to go. And I keep having to remember that I'm in the 30-mile-an-hour limit and I shouldn't go. I shouldn't pull the throttle back. Oh, that burble, I love it. That throaty roar. I absolutely love that sound. See how those pots stick out of the side? Much more than you would ever see on a GS or a GS Adventure, because they've got the frame and plastics around them. So it's actually quite nice to actually see the engine. Nice little radiator in there, tucked up quite far up above. A real retro light, but obviously with new age bulbs in there. Real retro. I love the colour. This colour is, I would describe it as battleship grey. Just a beautiful, beautiful colour, and it really does the bike justice. It looks like an old army machine. The switch gear, as you would imagine, has been taken from other motorbikes in BMW's range. Well labelled, pronounced, get good feedback when you press it. Now when you start the bike, the speedo flips up, flips back, so you know that you've got everything in there. I'm hoping you can see that I've got the clock there and the heated grips on the right hand side. You go into your setup and change settings in there. See the odometer, trips, engine temperature, and then back to your clock. So all the stuff that you should need, all the stuff that you should need. Yes, it's a key. I don't see much of an issue with that. It's quite nice to have a key actually, because you know where you've put the thing. Now the seat, it's a two-piece. So it's a two-piece seat, leather or leather mock-up, but I really love the stitching. I like that stitching. It just gives it a little air of being a little bit more special. So this is a Euro 4 version and it's got Brembo brakes. Good brakes. And I love this air intake. This air intake. It's really quite nice, and I like the way that they've added that as a bit of chrome. Made it look a little bit more special. So we've got spoked wheels supplemented by that beautiful cam there that makes that amazing burbling sound when you're riding. Again, inside, much like many of the other bikes, there's nothing, there's no dirt protection, no mudguard protection at all in there to stop the dirt or anything flicking up. But a special bike. This is bringing retro into the new age almost. You've got the retro styling of the bike together with the gadgets of the 21st century. And it's strange. Earlier in the video I was saying it's quite odd to not have a gear indicator to tell you what gear you're in. But after the few miles that I've ridden the bike, none of that matters. This just seems pure unadulterated fun. As you would imagine, this bike is so well weighted. Even coming to almost a standstill, there's not a single feeling about it being unbalanced or badly weighted. It just seems to sit just right. And I love what BMW have done, making their engine so versatile across such a range of different bikes. If I was fortunate enough to be able to afford to have one of these bikes, it would be as a second bike for me, because I do so much riding around the UK and around Europe on mine that my bike does everything I need it to. But this one just offers a little bit of difference, with the same characteristics, with that beautiful boxer engine just ticking away in the background, that amazing sound. And I'm sure someone will say somewhere on a comment, will you please stop saying that's an amazing sound? But it's lovely. I love that throatiness of the exhaust. I'm not getting any vibrations at all through any of the bike, which is quite nice, especially considering that the suspension's quite stiff on this. I'm not sure whether you can change those settings, but it's comfortable enough for where I'd be taking this bike, but I do want to find some twisty roads, so that's what we're going to do next. Good power, good enjoyment, and if you could see my face in this helmet, I've done nothing but smile from ear to ear since I've been on it. I love my adventure, and it does make me smile every time I get on it, but it just does things well. Just does everything I wanted to do. well for me. But this is just fun. And boy, it's got the power. And because it's only 219 kilos, it feels like you've got more power than you actually have. But it's manoeuvrable, quite manoeuvrable indeed. You can chuck it in and out of the corners, and it feels quite stable. Feels quite settling when you're going into corners. Doesn't feel like you've got much overrun. And of course that engine is allowing you to use its engine braking as well as its torque, rather than having to rely on brakes all the time. If you relied on these brakes, you'd be over the handlebars, because the front brake is really quite snatchy. Well planted on the corners. I don't feel that I'm going to slip off or have to change my direction as I'm going around the corner. It's quite a confident little bike, confident grown-up bike. It's allowing the rider to not only have fun, but to entwine that with all of the refinements that BMW have put onto this bike and taken from other bikes as well. But allowing you to be a kid again. I love it. Come on, cyclist, if I can keep this pace up, so can you. And strangely enough, being sat on this bike further forward than I'm used to on my bike, I don't feel uncomfortable. I feel really quite comfortable and at one with the bike. Really quite a pleasant bike to ride. Quite a pleasant experience on such a glorious day down in sunny Cornwall and in sunny Falmouth. And it's days like this that make me realise how lucky I am. Not only am I riding a bike for pleasure, I'm able to talk about the bike and bring a video to you that people watch. So it gets up to speed very, very quickly, and with a bike with no wind protection, it's quite strange feeling that wind hitting your whole body again. It takes me back to the days of when I had my old Suzuki GS and actually my 650 Bandit. That was a great bike. So another massive shout out to Greg and his team at Ocean BMW in Falmouth for allowing us and giving us the opportunity to take out this beautiful machine. If you've liked the video, give it a massive thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and if you want to be a super subscriber, hit that bell, and that will alert you when we have new videos out. So I'll see you in the next one. Ride safe.